time for your motherfucking neighborhood Jesus, your motherfucking shade the way.
Jesus, take the wheel.
What's good, guys? How's everybody doing? Today's the day where we start tearing into this car. True motherfucking story. I'm sitting on like 30 minutes of sleep. Had a bad toothache last night. Got a molar up at the top and the bottom that is just like fucking dunzo. So, what better way to get your mind off of it than to tear into the DC-5? Get the fuel system built. You know, we got everything here. Pretty much the pump's ready. I've got my plug. New plug's ready to go. I went and picked up something I almost forgot about that would have been really bad. Vacuum line for the fuel pressure regulator and a T. Shout out to Cristo as always. Fucking, if I would have forgot that, you know, you got to set what's called static fuel pressure. When you set it at idle, you set it without the vacuum line on, get it good to go. Then you attach your vacuum line, and then as the load on the car rises, the fuel pressure will rise from the vacuum, from the manifold. So, pretty awesome. We thought of that before we started, you know, driving the car, getting all this ready to roll. Definitely would have not been good news. But we got all our fittings from Fragola. We got all our tools. We got our GM Continental Flex Fuel, sensor. We got our K-Tune fuel pressure regulator. I'm debating whether I might be running this center mount from the bottom for the fuel rail gauge. Got our Grams 750s. We got our Grams 100 micron pump, or it's a 40. I'm sorry. Yeah, I think it's a 40. I'd have to check. It's the right one though. And then we got all our tools. We got our fuel resistant grade polyethylene heat shrink tube. We got our PTFE lines with the first two 90s that are going to the pump hanger. Those are all ready to roll on there. Look good. We got our fuel pump hanger installed, you know, wired up. Everything's good to go. That's pretty much it, honestly. We've got the whole parts list. Now, when you're tackling this, what should you start with first? I would say the first two things I would start with is getting the fuel pump hanger all under wraps, get that wired up. Then get your injectors installed in your fuel rail and get the fuel rail back on and everything. Then from there, think about where you want to mount your regulator, because that's important, you know. Got to find a spot for the regulator, and then start thinking about the routing of where you're putting the hose. Now, any of you guys that are just now tuning in, you know, you haven't watched any of the other, you just came across this video. The way this system works is the routing that works. You're going to have your pump. So you got your feed, and you got your return, a -8AN, -6AN. The feed is going to go underneath the car, and it's going to come to the Grams fuel filter. So you need a fitting there and a fitting on the other side. Then another piece of hose comes out, and that's what's going to go to your rail. That's all that's in between the feed line and the rail is the fuel filter. Now, once it gets to the other side of the rail, that's where you can either, depending on what your setup is, if you're running power steering or not, you can actually run the regulator on the rail, or you can run another piece of hose and mount this at a location wherever you want. So from there, that goes from the rail to the car, like underneath the car with the other return line, and that's where you're going to be putting in the flex fuel sensors in the return line. Now, you could mount this underneath the car, but it'd probably be best to find somewhere in the engine bay to put this kind of, you know, tuck it away. But You can't. I would say if you heat shrink the plug and everything, it should be fine to put it underneath the car. I mean, this polyethylene stuff is waterproof, so as long as you do a real good job, you know, putting some type of heat shrink around it. Doesn't have to be fuel. It doesn't even have to be polyethylene. It could be any, you know, any heat shrink you want, as long as it's waterproof. We've already got our JB tuned flex fuel sensor. Fucking ran through the firewall. I need to wire that in. We've got our pigtail harness connector, whatever you want to call it, for all your analog inputs into K-Pro. This is supplied with K-Pro. They actually supply it with 2 of these. So that's all good to go. Then just standard stuff. I've got a mini ATA circuit from Little Fuse to power the flex fuel sensor. We've got our vacuum hose for the regulator and a T to T into the manifold vacuum line. And then hose clamps, very important. You can go 2 routes with hose clamps. You could go self-tapper, which is actually what I'm going to be doing for now until I get the car up on a lift, because it's going to be easier. It's a little bit more work to have to drill through and add a nut and a bolt as opposed to a self-tapper. Just because I'm on the ground and I don't have, you know, I don't really have really high jack stands where I'm going to be like underneath there super well. I'm going to have to shimmy under there to do my thing, but yeah, fucking that's pretty much the breakdown. You know, I got extra olive little ferrules for the fittings in case anything goes wrong. I've actually got a fuel injector rebuild kit, and I just solely got this for the O-rings because I don't know what kind of shape these O-rings are on these injectors, because I have a set of Graham 750cc's, but I had a nicked fuel injector O-ring, and it was making my fuel injector leak out the manifold. So I took the O-rings off the Grahams and put them in there. So hopefully those will be in good shape. If not, I've got a backup set. No worries. And yeah, a can of silicone spray would probably do you good, you know, for putting it in. And just, you know, wire cutters, wire strippers, soldering iron solder, some PTFE Teflon tape for any fittings that, you know, might be susceptible to leaking. I doubt they're going to leak, though, honestly. I don't think they're going to leak. AN fittings aren't supposed to leak, and if they do, you probably did something wrong. First order of business is let's take the terminal off the battery. Let's get the fuel pump hanger out of the car, and then let's get the fuel rail out of the car, and then from there we'll install the new injectors, and we'll get ready to wire this plug into the wiring scheme. From what I was looking, the factory plug has 4 wires, which is good. That makes sense. You have 2 grounds, then you have a yellow wire that's coated with blue, and a yellow wire that's coated with black. I'm not sure what, I mean, obviously the 2 grounds are the 2 grounds, but the yellow with the black stripe and the yellow with the blue stripe, I'm not sure. I'm going to have to take the hanger out as it's assembled and basically, in a nutshell, just trace it, you know, see where it's going, see what pin goes to which wire and stuff like that, but not a big deal. Oh, yeah.
I feel kind of fly standing next to you, baby girl. How do I look in my do-rag? Would you tell me the truth? Stay with me and love me through the night, endlessly. I'ma keep on all my chains when I make love to you. Hold me close and let me squeeze you tight through the night, but baby
Alright, and we're back. Let's see if we can trace this routing. So it's looking like, I'm assuming the yellow and blue is the blue wire. The yellow and black is the yellow wire. That's what it'd have to be. You know what I'm saying? So if you guys are putting in the dual pump hanger like I am, where there is no plug, it's not like just a plug and play affair, which they really fucking should have done. No offense, Full Blown Motorsports, great product, but you know, I did notice a couple things that are kind of, I don't CNC fuel pump hangers, so I can't be but too critical, you know. But from what I can see, see if I can show you guys without like getting gasoline everywhere. If you look right, that blue and that black is the power and ground to your fuel pump hanger. The black and the yellow back here is your sending unit. So you got to think you got two blacks, which are ground. I know like some people say green is always ground, but there's no green in there. Black is also, when you're going between red or black, which one's the ground? Black. It's just the way it works. But you got a yellow and you got a blue. So you got like sending power, sending unit power resistance. So that's the yellow. And then the blue one is your fuel pump power, I would say. Yeah. So in my case, this one would be the yellow blue stripe, and then this one would be the yellow black stripe. I'm pretty sure. I hope so. Obviously, I'm gonna wire it up and try it before like I stick it in a tank of gas, and it doesn't have any gas in it yet, so you know. But we're gonna confirm this. So, beeyaw. Be back in a bit. Beeyaw. All right. So as you see, I forgot to turn the fucking camera on because I'm real smart like that. But all I did was just take off my catch can lines to get a little bit more work room. Unplugged the injectors and just took the EFI fitting off.
Tell me, am I doing it right? I may be covered in cat hair, but I still smell good. Baby, let me know how to.
Y'all want a little drinky? You take off old orb fitting, or not even orb, but a block off. Take that bitch off. There you go. Take off our EFI fitting. If any of you guys need any of this stuff, I'll be. Oh, is that a dash 10? Wow. I know it's a dash 10. Oh, fuck me, right? Yeah, it's indeed a dash 10 to EFI. That's weird though, because it's a dash 10 size. So now we got our K-tune rail stripped down. She's all good to go, ready to get prepped. I gotta run upstairs real quick and see if I can find those orb fittings, because I have no clue where the fuck they are. BRB.
Don't lie to me. Let me rock you all night long. I'm trying to impress you, girl. Let me know, how do I look in my do-rag? I'm trying to get intimate. Let me love you like you've never been before.
Cool. Alright, so we got, yeah, I fuck with it. Just so you see your fuel pressure, you know, wherever I tuck the regulator, wherever I tuck the regulator, you know, might not be visible, you know, the gauge. If I put it down lower somewhere, might not be able to see it accurate. I might have to like peek my head down there. It might be on a weird angle, etc., you know, so. But honestly, not sure where we'll put it. That's probably going to be the next thing we think of. Where the fuck are we putting this, you know? Because it's going to be tricky. So excited, guys. This is so much fun. It's fucking fun, guys. Okay? this point, you got a couple options of what you want to do. We can wire up the fuel injector clips first, wiring, soldering, you know. Or we can wire up the fuel pump and get the fuel pump dropped in, wiring, soldering. Got to do it. I think, me personally, I'm probably going to just wire up the pump first, and then I'll wire up the injector clips first before I put the rail in, just so it's easier to get around.
Girl, I'm smashing my do-rag, 'cause it's only right. Do you like the way my ice drips in the light? Baby girl, do you like me in my do-rag? Let me know. Would you let me know? Let me know, girl. Let's make love until we fall asleep. I like the way you feel next to me. Baby, you look so good in this moonlight. Stay with me and love me through the night. Baby, let's make love until we fall asleep. I feel weird. Comb your beard, brush your teeth. Still feel weird. Feed your meat, go to sleep. I wanted at the club. Jesus, take the wheel. I feel weird. Comb your beard, brush your teeth. Still feel weird. Feed your meat, go to sleep. I wanted at the club. Jesus, take the wheel.
Alright, and we're back. Man, it's been a busy day. Just got done splicing in and soldering all the injector pigtails. Looking pretty decent, you know. I'm not a master electrician or nothing, but I think they look decent. I'll clean all of it up and, you know, splice it all, well, not splice it, tape it all up so it looks a little bit nicer and stuff, but the way it is, it sits underneath anyway. It's tucked already, brother. Straight shades harnesses, bro. Fucking got rid of that plastic thing, brother, and fucking tucked it. But yeah, in all seriousness, I think she looks pretty decent. We still got to wire up the fuel pump plug and all that stuff. I'm pretty sure I figured it out. I've been talking with Cam about it. He's, you know, going to be doing the same full-blown motorsports hanger in his supercharged DC5. Fucking he's running 2 pumps, I'm running 1, but we still have the same hanger and the same wiring and stuff, so pretty positive that the plug yellow with a blue stripe is your fuel pump power. The black wire next to that is your ground for your pump. Then yellow with the black stripe is your sending unit power, and then that black ground, obviously the sending unit ground. So yeah, but anyways guys, I'm super fucking tired, beyond tired. Been out here since probably about 2 o'clock and it's now 10:45, so definitely got some good progress today. You know, nothing, I mean, we didn't get like a ton done, but I mean, we got the Got the fuel rail loaded. We got, well, when I say the fuel rail loaded, we had to, do a couple things. We had to put the gauge on. We had to put new O-rings on the top side, rail side of the Graham's injectors, put in these orb fittings, obviously remove the fuel rail to get all of it out, remove the fuel pump hanger, figure out all the wiring is really what took so long today, wiring and wiring issues, troubleshooting. But anyways, like I said, super tired. We'll call it a day here. I'll see you guys next episode. Beeyaw.